So we were reading the Murli of 21st December 1989, the attainment of blessings from the Tridev Trinity creator. So this Murli is in three parts. Yesterday we studied the first part, and the first part essentially had two components. The first component was basically Baba telling that Baba as father, teacher, and preceptor, Trinity, do we actually experience the attainments from him in all the three forms? So he discussed a couple of paragraphs on those. And the second component of Murli was Baba mentioning why we children labor, what are the disadvantages of laboring. And he basically told either we are not able to face Maya's obstacles or we come into the feeling of flu while we interact with other Brahmin or non-BK souls. And he also then compared the physical flu symptoms versus spiritual flu symptoms and what is the remedy for those. So it was very wonderful. Uh, Today we will be reading the second part of the Murli, and the second part also has three different components. Basically, Baba meeting three different groups. One is the teachers group, where he exclusively discusses in depth about devotion, bhakti. What exactly is bhakt and what is bhaktmala? And he asks the question to children, where do you want to come? And he elaborates the role of bhakt and the role of children as bhakta, because even we were bhakta earlier. So something related to this gyan, the knowledge he reveals in the first part, first component today. Second component, he would be meeting the another group and he discusses about the holy huns, what exactly makes a person holy. And again, Baba will be meeting the third group. So three groups will be reading today, and tomorrow then we'll be reading the last component. So let's start today's Murli. Have the teachers performed devotion? For how many births did you do that? You have not done it in this birth, have you? Your devotion finished in the last birth. When did you start devotion? With whom did you start devotion? You too did devotion with Brahma Baba. Which temple did you go to? Which temple did you do it in first? So, you are the original souls of the path of devotion and also the original souls of the path of knowledge. Because the devotion of the beginning is unadulterated, the happiness and the bliss of devotion, according to that time, are no less. That happiness and bliss were elevated in their own place. So Baba is generally asking questions because to the teachers that when did they start performing devotion? Is it this birth or is it the previous birth? And even if it is previous birth, when did we exactly start? Then Baba asks another question, and this is something which is very deep. Baba will be revealing this very much deep. So even y'all can ask to yourself, are you part of the rosary of devotees? क्या आप भक्त माला के अंदर हो? Because knowledge, so we know that there is this mala coming in, but bhakt mala bhi hoti hai. So Baba is asking the question: are you part of the rosary of devotees? Since you began devotion, are you not part of the rosary of devotees? Because logically, if we say that since we were the first to start knowledge to come in Gyan, we are part of the Gyan Mala, Vishnu Mala, whatever we call it, or Vajayanti Mala. Likewise, if we begin devotion, can we also be part of the devotees, of the rosary of devotees? That's what Baba is asking. Were the double foreigners part, were the double foreigners part of the rosary of devotees? He asks not only the teachers, also double foreigners. Were they also in the rosary, Bhaktamala? Were the double foreigners part of the rosary of devotees? Did you become devotees or were you in the rosary of devotees? So, with this statement, it seems that there are two things: rosary of devotees, and one is just devotees who are not part of rosary. Interesting. Baba then further says, you are now wondering whether you were or not. Were you part of the rosary of victory and also part of the rosary of devotees? You became worshippers, but were you part of the rosary of devotees? The rosary of devotees is separate. You become enlightened ones who then become devotees, whereas they are only devotees. There is a difference between the rosaries of enlightened souls and devotees. The rosary of knowledgeable souls is the rosary of victory, whereas the rosary of devotees is of those who do intense devotion, those who do not want to listen to anything other than devotion, or they consider only devotion to be most elevated. The rosary of enlightened ones is separate from the rosary of devotees.
Om Shanti Bhaiji, I think your screen is not visible. I think you're sharing, but it is not visible.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
let me share again.
yeah, yeah. Now it is visible.
Is it visible? Okay.
Yeah,
Baba is telling there is a difference between. Hope my voice was audible until now.
yeah. It's fine.
Okay,
Your
okay.
voice is audible. Yes.
So Baba says there is a difference between the rosaries of enlightened souls and devotees. The rosary of knowledgeable souls is the rosary of victory, whereas the rosary of devotees is of those who do intense devotion, those who do not want to listen to anything other than devotion, for they consider only devotion to be most elevated. The rosary of enlightened ones is separate from the rosary of devotees. You have certainly performed devotions, but you would not be said to be part of the rosary of devotees. This is because after having played the part of devotion, all of you have come into knowledge. They are intense devotees, whereas you have intense knowledge. There is a difference between the sanskars of the two types of soul. A devotee is someone who always has the sanskars of asking, I am degraded and the Father is elevated. They have those sanskars. They are royal beggars, whereas you souls have the sanskars of claiming a right. Hmm? बाबा told वो रॉयल भिखारी है और आप अधिकारी हो. Therefore, as soon as you receive the introduction, you claim all rights. So, just to summarize this paragraph, Baba is telling that we, the souls who are into the rosary of victory, विजय माला के दाने बनते हैं, वो भक्त माला के अंदर नहीं आते हैं. Rosary of devotees is separate and rosary of victorious souls is separate. Although we have started devotion, but just because we started doesn't make us part of their rosary. They do intense bhakti and they have a separate set of sanskars which they never want to change. And although we did start devotion, we can transform our sanskars when we get knowledge and we get enlightened. And hence, we become part of the rosary of victory. So, this is what Baba is trying to tell in the previous paragraph. So, Baba is further asking, do you understand? Give some space to the devotees too. Will you be part of both? Because you have half a cycle and they too have half a cycle. They also have to be part of the rosary that is remembered. Hmm? So, yesterday, I think we had a beautiful conversation towards the end that everybody might not get knowledge of Baba. What about those souls who vanchit reh jayenge? So, this paragraph somewhere answers that question that if we become the rosary of victorious souls, even they have that rosary of devotion. This way it is balanced. They also get some recognition or they have their own half kalpa. Hmm? And that is where Baba is telling that give some space to devotees too. Will you be part of both? Because you have half a cycle and they too have half a cycle. They also have to be part of the rosary that is remembered. Interesting. They are still better than the people of the world outside. Their intellect is at least not in other directions. It is still towards Baba. They at least remain pure. They receive the fruit of purity, that of being praised. You will be worshipped, but they will not be worshipped. They simply create statues and f- position them in order to be able to praise them. However, there is never a temple to Mira. Mira is never worshipped in that way that the deities are. She is only praised. They may worship anyone during this last birth. They may worship the earth. They may worship the trees. But According to the discipline, they are only praised, not worshipped. You are the souls who become worthy of worship. Constantly keep this intoxication in your awareness. A soul who is worthy of worship cannot even touch an impure thought. Have you become so worthy of worship? So, Baba has given some more distinctions here. Especially, he's mentioning that although they have their own Bhakt ki mala, the rosary of devotion, but they don't become worship worthy. It is only the person who becomes part of the rosary of victory become worship worthy. And he says, although towards the last birth they may worship the elements of nature, like earth, sun, water, or anything else, but other than this, they were always worshipping us. They never worshipped, they are elevated souls. For example, Mira, we don't see any temple for Mira. I could just probably see one temple of Mira when I went to Kumbhalgarh, Chhattisgarh near in Rajasthan, but that too was just a remembrance. Nobody worshipped that statue. It's they are Gayan Yogya and we are Gayan plus Pujan Yogya. Mm. And that is where Baba tells, okay, so Baba is, again meeting the teachers group. So these are so pure souls. So Baba says that constantly keep this intoxication in your awareness. A soul who is worthy of worship cannot even touch an impure thought. So Baba now gives Yad Pyar to the souls from everywhere who have a right to the inheritance, to those who always pass with honors in their study, to those who become bestowers of blessings through their own blessings and make others into bestowers of blessings, to those who are very much loved by the Father, teacher, and Sadguru, to the elevated soul who constantly remain in spiritual pleasures. Bab Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Now Baba is meeting the group of Punjab and Rajasthan zones. Do you constantly experience yourselves to be holy swans? So Baba is now elaborating about holy swans. Holy swans means those who can distinguish between powerful and wasteful. Those swans separate pebbles from jewels. They separate pearls from stones. However, what do you holy swans discern? You distinguish between powerful and wasteful, pure and impure. Just as swans never pick up pebbles, but but they separate them and put them aside and do not take them. In the same way, you holy swans put aside wasteful thoughts and adopt powerful thoughts. If waste thoughts do come, you would not adopt them. If you adopt waste, you cannot be called holy swans. It is storks that adopt them. You heard, spoke, and did a lot of wasteful things. But what was the result of that? You lost everything, did you not? You lost your body. Look at the body of the deities and the body that you have now and see what it is. There is so much difference. The older ones are the better than the younger ones. So, you lost your body, You lost the peace and happiness of your mind and also your wealth. How much wealth did you have? Where did that limitless wealth go? You lost it in wasteful things. Are you now accumulating, or are you still losing? Holy swans are not those who lose, but those who accumulate. You will now receive a good body for 21 births and a mind that will always remain happy. There, wealth will be equivalent to the dust now. Now, even the dust has become valuable. But there, you will play with the jewels, and the buildings will be decorated with jewels. So, Baba is mentioning dust. So, that is in Hindi Murli, it was matti. These days, even matti ki value hoti hai. Even if you have to purchase, if you want to use reti or mati for any construction or any specific task, we have to purchase that because there is so much deficiency of mati in cities, especially because there is erosion of the dust. And over there, we would be not even getting costed for the jewels. Forget about the mati. Of course, if the jewels are in abundance, so what about the mati? So Baba is telling, you will now receive a good body for 21 births and a mind that will always remain happy. Their wealth will be equivalent to the dust now. Now even the dust has become valuable. But there you will play with the jewels and the buildings will be decorated with jewels. So how much are you accumulating? Those who have accumulated are happy. If you haven't accumulated anything, your heart shrinks. If you have accumulated, you would have a big heart. Your heart has now become so big. So is your account of accumulation increasing at every step? Or do you accumulate only sometimes? Have you looked at your chart very clearly? At such a time, too, you don't sometimes let things go to waste, do you? You are now aware of the value of time, are you not? 1 second of the confluence age is so great, it would be said that it was only 1 or 2 seconds that have passed. But even a second is so great. If you remembered this, you wouldn't waste even a second. So Baba is giving us the importance of time. To waste a second means to waste a year. 1 second of the confluence age has so much importance. So you are those who accumulate, not those who waste, because you either waste or you earn. It is only now, throughout the whole cycle, that you earn an income. So, holy swans means those who do not waste anything, either in their dreams or in their thoughts. Holy means the ones who chase away any impurely any impurity in a second with the power of purity, not just for themselves, but for others too. Because you have to transform the whole world. Do you not? You know how great the power of purity is. Do you not? Purity is such a fire that it can burn the rubbish of the world in a second. Complete purity in such an elevated power. Complete purity is such an elevated power at the end when everyone will have become complete, all of the rubbish will be burnt with the fire of love in your elevated thoughts. Yoga should be very intense. At the end, service will not take place as slowly. As soon as you think something, it happens. As soon as you think something, it happens. This is called service at a fast speed. Now you are filling yourselves with power and then you will use it. Similarly, as it is shown in the memorials of the goddesses that they burned the devils with their intense fire, they were not devils but devilish powers, of which time is that a memorial. Of which time is that a memorial? It is at the present time, is it not? So become ones with such intensity. If you don't become this, who will? So now become the ones with such intensity and burn the devilish sanskars and devilish nature. Burn everything. You have burnt your own sanskars, have you not? Or are you still burning your own sanskars? Acha. So Baba completes the second group. Now this third group, Baba is meeting Punjab. Those from Punjab have at least become fearless. You're not those who are afraid, are you? You are the ones who are volcanic. So, what is there to be afraid of? You are already dead. So, whom do you have to be afraid of? Rajasthan should never forget their right to be kingdom, their right to the kingdom. You do not forget the kingdom and just remember the desert of Rajasthan. Do you? There is a lot of desert in Rajasthan. So, always have the awareness of your new kingdom. All of you should become fearless and volcanic and become those who burn away the tamoguni nature that is in the elements of souls. This is a very huge task. Only when you do it speedily will it become accomplished. As yet, not all the people have received the message, let alone the elements. So, fasten your speed, hasten your speed. Let there be a center in every street because, according to the circumstances, you won't be able to go from one street to the next. You won't even be able to see each one another. So, there will be a center in every home, in every street. Will there not? So, Baba is telling to Rajasthan that just don't think that there are deserts. It's a land of kingdom. And even if like Abu is there in Rajasthan, still, it is important that there should be centers at every street because towards the end, Baba says that there would be circumstances that we won't be able to see each other. We have already experienced that in COVID. Acha. So here we end today. Let us pause for a minute and reflect what Baba has to say, and then we'll start journeying. Shanti, we can start sharing our insights from today's Murli.
Om Shanti. So it was good to hear that, Baba says that, the worthy of worship souls. So Baba says the devotees, they are praised, but they are not really worshipped. So to become worship means we have to have that quality that is even there should not be any impurity within us, even at the thought level. There shouldn't be any impure thought arising within us. So, Baba would like to see us the purity level, going so high where we become so pure and then become worthy of worship. Okay, and yes, praise is there for the devotees because they are also doing the same thing. In the sense, they are also trying to reach Baba and take. But what they do is in the form of begging, right? Which is not what we are doing. So we are trying to claim our rights from Baba. But the devotees, what they are doing is they are trying to beg. They are the royal beggars, Baba says, trying to take it from Baba. Yeah, so this is something that really caught my attention. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Papa elaborated, and again, another aspect for that is after understanding the rosary of devotees, it also made me appreciate their value in a way rather than thinking of why they are not coming into knowledge. I was reflecting that they have so much value for the bhakti which they have, which they do. Because we see that there are some devotees who would do Nauda Bhakti. Like we, Baba used that Nauda Shabda in that Hindi Murli, and we are into this Nauda Gyan. This Nauda, there was no English proper translation. Intense, it was used here. So, and the Nauda Bhakti is such intense that uh, they would not even listen to anybody else. Because since they do Nauda Bhakti, they even get some result of that bhakti in form of sakshatkar or maybe in terms of temporary gains, and that makes them so much happy, so much powerful that they feel that there is nothing beyond what they do or what is called as their processes for achieving God. So, but then still Baba appreciates that at least they are pure, and at least they are not as impure as any ordinary soul today. So that is where Baba is also appreciating them, and in a way, whatever we started as a devotion, they are giving, they are using that as for their sustenance, even like because today even devotion is uh, a means of earning livelihood for so many. But having said that, Baba made us realize, as you told, that the value of ours, like because we are worshipped, as well as our purity level should be at a much higher level. Even for that matter, Baba told at a thought level. So that is intoxication which Baba did to us as well. But at the same time, the appreciation which he did for the devotees was phenomenal in this Murli. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Praful Bhai.
Yes,
Every Murli, I always think the first part of the Murli generally, is the one which really the crux of the thing in it. And generally in the groups, I just think it a little different. But over here, I don't know if you remember when the 1980 Murli discussions started in our club. I remember the 82 Murli, it was only on renunciation, renunciation, renunciation. The best Murlis, if you want to know about the various. But if I remember, it was in 81. I don't know whether I heard from you or this. There it was the Rosary of Murli, where I don't know who had mentioned. It's like a motivation for us. Baba, he just says, like first he said eight. And then I remember even that eight, the eight, the first eight, then 108, then 16,108. So even in that eight, it is not actually eight, it is one plus seven. That's what I read in that 1981, I think. One is Brahma Baba. Remember, Brahma Baba never went on any service, never went to tell everyone about Shiv Baba. He just was the chariot more when he was taking down the Murli. Even when he became Avyakt, again he was a chariot inside a chariot. So he is number one. The remaining seven are the helpers. They were the one who took the knowledge, whether it was mama, whether it was the dadis, whether some senior people. So again, that seven rosary Baba, I said, it is not fixed. Even though the number two is fixed, but still there is place. Number one is there. So that was one plus seven. So he still used to give us that motivational thing. Do you want to be part of the rosary? Now, if you take the meaning of the rosary, it is that which every bhagat holds in his hand and he runs it through his fingers, chanting out the name, whatever rosary it is. Maybe Christians call Christ or Allah, it may be anything. So a devotee is something different. A devotee is the one who is actually lost his connection with God, lost his meaning with God, and suddenly is in search of God. And he starts, as Baba mentioned in the Murli, unadulterated worship, just Shivling. That was the first worship in the Copper Age. I used to often think, then, so in the Copper Age, so it was first that unadulterated worship. So then the remaining three isms, Buddhism, Judaism, and all came later. So that is the devotees. They are the ones who lost their line and now they were in searching. And out of that, as you rightly mentioned, a few of them who attained what you have to attain and who were worshipped by the devotees is the rosary of the devotees. So the rosary of the devotees, again, it is just restricted to the Copper Age. But when you come to Rosary of Victory. I remember 2 or 3 days back in the Sakar Murli Baba had said, if you want to be a part of the Rosary of Victory, have a faithful intellect, uh, and imbibe divine virtues. And don't take back what you have given. Just now, whether it was a blessing or something, I remember. So we are that rosary of victory. Baba is looking now to the rosary of victory. The Vijay Mala, the ones who are really going to take the flag, the thing, and so all these three devotees, rosary of devotees, and rosary of victory. In this one paragraph, though Baba has said, I am not still, I have not, what to tell you, not divided them. Because Baba is saying devotee पूछता रहता है मैं निर्गुण हारू and all. So they cannot be part of the rosary of devotees. You mentioned Meera. Yes, Narad. Baba always used to give these two people example when he went to the rosary of devotees, Narad and Meera. But Rosary of Victory is our 16,108. That is 1 plus 7, 8, and then 16,000. So it's something very nice if little more we hear about Rosary of Victory, too, we hear every time in the Murlis. But something new I heard today, which I really want to go and learn, is the Rosary of Devotees. I know only two people in the Narad and Meera. It was just as I'm still, as I told you, I'm still categorizing and dividing that paragraph to understand it better. Om Shanti.
Yeah, wonderful thought. So Baba also gives the reference in Murli, Sakar Murlis many times, but yeah, he didn't really go into the depth in announcing the names. But as we read different scriptures and we see so many references given in so many stories. But again, whether they are part of the rosary or not, that is something Baba only knows. Because on what basis they are. Because one thing is sure that वो गायन योग्य है, so पूजन योग्य नहीं है. So even like we have the rosary of 8 and all. Even probably again, and this devotion is also since Dwapar Yug, and since Copper Age, it's huge, 2,500 years. And many of these practices have even been, extinguished, like in the latest 200, 300 years, especially in the Iron Age when we had rulers of Mughals coming in. So many of the scriptures were even burnt and things like that. But having said that, no wonder this devotion is also having a lot of power, and we have seen so many miracles kind of things happening in the scriptures and the stories which we hear. So, of course, they had their own power of purity. So many things like I could even gaze from that book, Autobiography of a Yogi, Shivananda. I hope some of you all might have read that. Very nicely, he has elaborated how these things happen. Earlier, I was thinking that this was just a myth, but the explanation which he gave in that book and the kind of power which those people had, even in like his gurus and in 1980s, or rather, sorry, in 1800s and 1900s early, so much power if those souls could have what they described in that book. So I wonder that in Dwapar Yuga, how much powerful the devotion would be. It is just that now, since we have lost all the powers, we don't appreciate the powers which the devotees have. But as Baba told that you children enjoy the first half kalpa, even they have their own, second half kalpa. They have their own, in a way, kingdom, or in a way, if not kingdom, maybe a clan, a group coming in and, having their own visibility, which is seen in this copper and iron age. So this is wonderful to know and appreciate about them as well.
People, by when you were speaking about autobiography of a yogi, you're talking about Paramahamsa.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. But see, Shiv Baba, see, there are two things you spoke about: worthy of worship, worthy of praise. And Shiv Baba had once mentioned in the Murli, he's saying, you are double worshipped. You saligrams are double worshipped. Very recent Avyakt Murli. You saligrams are double worshipped, but I am only praised. I am never worshipped in the form in which I am. But you are double worshipped. That was one thing which I was thinking. So I just wanted to know if when we are worshipped, we go into the rosary, right? If we are
Mm.
worshipped, we go into the rosary of devotees. And because of that first half of the cycle, we are also worshipped in the copper age. Ishta Devadai, we become whatever Ganesh or whatever form we are doing. Is this aspect correct? Can you just throw a little more on this? I'll just raise the question again. Devotees are never, wow, that is worthy of worship or worthy of praise. Two, Shiv Baba is only worthy of praise, which he had mentioned in the Murli. But he says, you saligrams. So that is we. हम बच्चे 16,108 or 9,16,000 जो भी है, y'all are double worshipped, worthy of praise and worthy in worship. My question is, it's only in the copper age, right, when we that question of worship comes. There's and the worthy of praise comes. When does it come?
Yeah, you're right. Let me. First, I'll answer your question and then I'll connect with what I was mentioning earlier. Um, so, of course, until Satyuga and Treta, nobody worships anyone. We are just enjoying the kingdom. It is only in the copper and iron age that our Satyugi form, Devi Devata form, is being probably created as a murti, or we are being worshipped. So that is perfectly right, that we, the kind of worship which we are being done, the bhakti, the bhog वगैरह and all are offered to us, श्रृंगार किया जाता है and nilhaya jata hai, so many things are being done. uh, of course Baba is also worshipped, but then Baba is just worshipped as a soul, which we are also worshipped as Saligram, Shivlinga. But we are worshipped both as a Saligram, that is a point of light Shivling, as well as Murti. So in that context, we are worshipped in our Satyugi Treta Yug, that is deity form, as well as our original eternal form, that is point of light. So that way we are worshipped in double form. Baba is not having his own body, hence he is only worshipped once. So to answer your question, yes, everything happens after Dwapar Yug only, because until Dwapar Yug, nobody worships anyone, and there is no Gayan also, because Devta don't remember anything happening in Sangam Yug, nor will they have to praise each other, because they are just royal Buddhas when Baba says. But again, emphasizing, since you again refer that book, and there are so many stories, what happens in Bhakti, these people have divine powers, may it be anyone, Yogacharya, Yogananda, Bhagavad, or any of these rishis. What happens with their divine powers, or with their focus, or whatever you call it, they are able to do some miracles, they are able to do some bhavishavanis, they are able to give something to some souls, and due to that उनका गायन होता है. So even if you have read that book, they are praising Lahadi Maharishi, or that Nirakari Baba. There are so many different gurus into that. And not only that book, even other books also, even in Sikh tradition, if you see, even in other tradition. So these people end up doing some miracles, they end up giving some divine knowledge, but again they fall back because they don't want to be referred as ahankari. So they fall back कि भगवान की कृपा है, गणेश की कृपा है. So they worship the deities only. They don't get themselves worshipped. Themselves they are being praised. And that is where उनका जो गायन होता है, that is, people remember them. उनका सिमरन होता है कि अरे this guru is so nice, so divine. But when they go to the guru himself is doing a devotion for the deity. So that is very interesting, that although they have such great powers, uh, and actually they had, because even if in Kali Yuga book they're mentioning that these are having such kind of things, and so many have witnessed, no matter what would be in Dwapar Yug, because so many shastras were lately prepared, not from very beginning. So that shastra make them, rather those powers made them Gayan Yogya, but again not Pujan Yogya, because they also did worship for the deities. And even they told others to worship deities, not worship themselves. So yeah, interesting. Yes, Bijit bhai, wanted to add it. Sorry for taking long.
Uh,
Yeah.
no, no. Actually, on this topic, right? So I heard a question from so I think this was in a class, I guess. I don't really remember the answer that was given in that. So this is somewhere connected to that. Okay. So in devotion, like you said, yeah, there are so many people doing a lot of devotion, intense devotion. And they take so much of power and they show miracle also outside. We see so many people with that sort of a power outside. Okay. Even if you come to Kerala also, I'm sure every part of the world will have. Um, and if we check the practice that they might have done is possibly for few years, 10 years, 20 years, they will disappear and then they come back with these sort of powers. Okay. And then when they share it, some will say that, okay, they got it by doing this and all that. On the other side, right? So we have the children of Baba's children, right? So some of them with a lot of experience, maybe 10 to 20, 30, 35 years of experience, where they're directly connecting Baba and taking power. Okay, but when it comes to demonstrating that power out to the world, right? Um, the devotees or the ordinary soul, right? They are showing their occult power in a greater form than Baba's children. Okay, so I used to think that, so the question there it was asked is why so? Because we being the child of Almighty Authority and we directly connect God and taking power from Him, and we supposed to be more powerful than them, right? And they seems to have a lot of power and they doing, a lot of magical things in the world, by taking power from Baba, but not directly, indirectly. And how are they able to take it that power in a short time? Where, though we directly connect God, we don't seems to have that sort of a power. So I don't remember what answer there it was given. So, uh, I mean, have you ever thought about that?
No, you're right. So basically, what happens is, although we are having soft powers, power to control our mind and things like that, but वो saying है ना जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, so the physical things which they are able to do, that is sometimes even we come into question, oh wow, how wonderful that thing has been done, and that is where people get attached to. And Baba also acknowledges this in Sakar Murlis that Riddhi Siddhi hoti hai, So the kind of, even in Kali Yuga, there are some tantrics and there are some practices with which you can gain such powers. But then our path is totally different. Baba has not told us to kind of do those magical acts, do those Riddhi Siddhi. And Baba sometimes just summarizes that in one word, that is Sakshatkar ki aas mat rakho, miracles की आश मत रखो, ट्रांस की आश मत रखो, because the way to become Devi Devta is not those acts. It is just Baba's remembrance. It is just soul consciousness. And the things which they do, the basis of that is not probably God consciousness or soul consciousness. They, of course, they have their own practices, Kriya Yoga or whatever they call it, that may help them reach that stage, and they're happy with that. So if they're able to do those, perform those acts of Riddhi Siddhi, they feel that they have accomplished what they wanted to, because they get praise from public outside. They feel that those the God has given those powers, and for them that is fulfillment. But for us, Baba's children, Baba tells that that is nothing. Baba often tells that उसमें कुछ सार नहीं है, ज्ञान नहीं है. अगर हो भी गया तो क्या फायदा हुआ? Many times he tells in the Sakar Murli. So our path is totally different. Baba tells us just to remember himself, just to be in soul conscious stage, just to conquer the vikars. That's it. If even if we do all those things, we will be able to gain that Satyugi kingdom. Baba has never told us, or Baba has never, even the dadis which we see, who are the part of rosary, may it be Mamma, may it be Dadi Prakash Mani or any other Dadi, they didn't end up giving those miracles to the world. Of course, those people coming in front of them, they could experience the bliss, they could experience their aura, vibrations, but they didn't, use any of these powers or demonstrated कि कल ऐसा हो जाएगा, आपका वैसा हो जाएगा. and then that those miracles happening, because this is not the basis of the kingdom which Baba wants to establish. So Vijit bhai, to answer
Yeah,
your question in short, no wonder those things, if we listen, even we feel wow, they have such wonderful powers, and sometimes even we get probably clocked to those things. But the things which Baba is teaching us, or the basis with which we would be getting our attainments, is totally different, which may not be in the form which we see them.
yeah,
So that is something I wanted to share. Yeah.
Praful, by
yeah.
just 30
Thank you.
seconds, I know time is running out for you. Just one thing I think you told in the beginning, whether it's rosary of devotee or rosary of victim, purity is the most important thing. And we saw in all these people that purity in whatever form they wish. Secondly, as Bijit Bhai was talking about Riddhi, Siddhi and all, again in just 3 days back, Sakar Murli Baba said, I have not come down to revive the dead or to remove the illness or to have mercy on you. Mine is only one purpose, impure, pure. So if you're ready, come and put your body, everything over here, and I can accomplish your task. And coming to that worship, only Brahma Baba's temple is there. That's what I've heard. I have not seen. There's no mention of Dadi Janki's temple and all, even though Dadi Janki says she's the one who built the Somnath temple, she says. So all this and much more, if you've got something, we've got one more day, Praful Bhai. We hope you'll come with some more information and give. Only she says, I built the Somnath temple. Om Shanti.
Yeah. So time is up, running up. So Vijit bhai, you wanted to add something before we close?
No, no, no. I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so
So
much for
let's
that clarification. Yes.
sure, sure. Let's remember Baba for a minute and we'll close. Sure. So let in 1 second, let's come into the worship worthy form. See yourself in a big temple, lots of devotees taking your darshan, and you are they are Isht Dev, they are Isht Devi, helping them accomplish whatever worldly asks they have, calming their minds, making them happy. And as we do that, we slowly go to Baba in the subtle regions and thank him for giving us this beautiful piece of knowledge today, with which we could help open our intellect. We come back into the body at the center of forehead, and we are ready for a beautiful day ahead. Om Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Meet you tomorrow.